I am currently solo parenting. He is actually traveling right now in London, England. I do want to go to the market because there's a couple things that I want to grab for baking later this week. It's really hard in that to actually make progress and steps forward. I feel like I just need a gardening mentor, a grandma to come over and support me in this journey. I've been getting like sometimes less than 4 hours of sleep at night, and we need everything that we can get to keep the day rolling. Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to this week in my life vlog. It's a little bit of an interesting week in my life. I am currently solo parenting. For those of you that are new here, I have 3 kids ages 3 and under. I have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newly 1-year-old. And also, for those of you that may not know, my husband is a pastor, so he is actually traveling right now. He is at a gathering for pastors in London, England, and then he'll be attending a conference there. So I'm like 4 feels like a week, but probably 3 or 4 days in now to him having left. Before you get overly concerned for my sanity, I have called in reinforcements. My mother-in-law is in town. She traveled in to support me for a few days while he's gone because it is just a lot to do 10 days, almost 11 by the time that he gets back without any other adults in the house. So I've been so grateful that she has been here. She does work full-time remote, so she's not available during the day at all, but honestly that's fine because I'm usually with the kids during the day anyway. It's more so for things like bedtimes and the dinner rush and all of that stuff that it's just nice to have another grown-up around. So very grateful for that, but it is still intense to not have Jared here for that stretch of time. Honestly, like so far the kids are doing really well. I feel like I miss him more than anything, but that's just kind of the place that I find myself this week. I have been keeping expectations very low on all fronts. I didn't really know going into this if I would want to like really fill the days up with fun stuff that we would be going out and doing, or if I would want to just like keep it really low key. The sleep has been way too low for me to feel like I can get out of the house most days. Our 2-year-old and 1-year-old still struggle quite a bit with sleep, and so typically when Jared is home, we divide and conquer the bedtimes in the middle of the night wakings. But right now I am solo doing all of the night wakings and honestly a lot of the bedtime too, because my kids like just want me right now. So when they wake up in the night, which they do very often, I'm kind of like going back and forth between my baby, who I have sleeping in my room right now, just like in a slumber pod with my mother-in-law being here. I'm kind of going back and forth between her and then my middle, who wakes up a lot of the time in the night just like scared or having a bad dream and just needing comfort. So the first night that he was gone, I can't remember if it was the first or the second, but I was like running back and forth at like 2 or 3 a.m. just trying to maintain some sort of order as my kids were like waking up on and off. So needless to say, I have not been doing a whole lot during the day with them other than just like keeping everyone dressed, fed, doing a little bit of light homeschool rhythms. But I also kind of feel like I would be ready to leave the house today, so I'm debating on doing like a little garden center trip or something with them this afternoon. I took a shower last night and just let my hair air dry, so as you can see we've got a little bit of frizziness happening, but it's okay because I'm going to style my hair right now in a way that is actually going to hold up for me over the next like 3 days, and then I won't have to do my hair for 3 days, which will be really nice. As you guys know, I have been absolutely loving my Good Behavior smoothing spray from IGK. If you've never heard of IGK before, they are a hair care company that was founded by hairstylists to like celebrities, and they wanted to create products that would be really helpful for the needs of just like everyday people at home, like me and you, the moms of the world. It is an anti-frizz spray up to 72 hours. It is heat activated and it offers heat protection up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So this would be great to use and just spray on your hair if you are getting out of the shower and then planning to blow dry. But if you're like me and you just don't even have time really to be running the blow dryer after you take your nighttime shower, I oftentimes just let my hair air dry like this, but I'm going to spray this and then I'm going to heat activate with my hairstyling wand, and you guys will see the difference that it makes. It's honestly so good. The last time that I showed you guys how I use this, I showed you on hair that was already blow dried, so I feel like we are really going to be putting this to the test today with my wavy hair right now. So I'm going to start by spraying it from root to tip. This stuff was inspired by keratin treatments, like those treatments that help to get really smooth and sleek hair, but are obviously like so many harsh chemicals and just really not good for your hair. So this is a great alternative if you've been looking for something to really minimize frizz. I promise that my mother-in-law is with my kids at this moment and they are safe. This stuff is very lightweight. It's not like greasy at all, and it doesn't make your hair feel weighed down in any way. Because I can put this through my hair and then I have that like 72-hour frizz protection, I'm probably not gonna wash my hair again for another 3 days because I just don't have time for that right now. This is the difference right now between that section that I just went over with the spray compared to what my other side is looking like. So I'm going to finish spraying that and then keep styling the rest of my head and show you guys what it looks like when it's all done. Is the final product using IGK's Good Behavior Smoothing Spray. I cannot say enough good things about this stuff. If you want to try it out and you're looking to just get salon quality, smooth, sleek hair at home, this is the stuff to do it. I do have a discount with them if you want to try it out. So all you have to do is head down to the link in my description box and use the code BethGrace25 at checkout to save 25% off your order. Again, down in my description box and BethGrace25. I'll put that here on the screen as well so you guys can check it out. But thank you to IGK for helping me lock in nice frizz-free hair that won't require me to wash it again for the next 3 days. Okay, we are on our way to the garden center right now just for like a little outing to get out of the house today. We have a ton of work to do in our backyard this summer. Jared is actually taking down the deck that we have back there this year because it has been there for like 20 years. Like it's such an old deck and it's starting to rot. Like it's just not safe anymore. So we're gonna pull that out and redo it this summer. We're probably also going to be doing a fence. There's a lot of work that needs to be done back there. And so I don't want to get like too tied to anything garden wise yet because just knowing what's going to be happening back there, I feel like we're actually going to end up needing to pull some more gardens out. But I thought it could be fun and like slightly productive to go and just like get inspiration and look around with the kids. So we're going to go there now and then maybe do a little trip to the dollar store. You want to go to the dollar store?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. All right, let's go. Is quiet. It's so quiet right now. The quietest that I have heard it in honestly days. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law Madison just took the kids to the market and I am actually going to be meeting them there in a little bit, but Rosie was sleeping when they left and she's been really fussy recently. I don't know if it's teething. I think she might be getting a little bit of a cold, but I just did not want to interrupt this nap. Sometimes like I'm just actually a stickler for naps. Most of the time I'm not, but when the kids are already just like obviously not thriving, it's like, okay, we're gonna do what we need to do to just be flexible here. But they were like, don't even worry about coming, like you just go do the afternoon with her later. I do want to go to the market because there's a couple things that I want to grab just for baking later this week, but after that, because the offer has been extended, I think that I might just go with Rosie to like the thrift store or something, because I feel like any mom with multiples knows that like if you have multiple children and you go out with just your baby, it really does feel like you're just going out by yourself. There's something about it that feels a lot more relaxing. So I think that I am probably going to just walk around a thrift store for a little bit after going to the market when she wakes up. So right now, just waiting for that nap to end and trying to chip away at a little bit of laundry while I can. I've been doing my best to still stay on top of all of the rhythms of the house. If anything, it's actually a little bit easier when your husband's not home to do that, because I don't feel in the evening, like after the kids go to bed, like I'm missing out on connecting with my husband, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I usually will put them down and then I try not to do too much else in the evening just because I want to spend time with him. But with him gone, I'm like, I don't know what else to do. Like I've been cleaning in the evening, I've been trying to stay on top of stuff. So in that sense, the chore management honestly has not been that bad. So I'm going to finish folding this and then I will get myself dressed and ready to go, and we will see what we can get at the market. just finished up at the market. I got some really pretty white tulips that I am excited to get home and clip and get in a vase. I'm parked at a thrift store now. I'm gonna go check out what they have in here and I will show you guys what I find. Back from the thrift store, I got a couple of books for the kids. This little sugar and spice and everything mice book that we took out from the library a couple months ago and loved. So I was glad to find it at the thrift store. I also got them this kids book of Canadian history, which I thought would just be nice to have on hand, especially for teaching them at home. And then this last book, the Lily Pad Ball, which is so cute. It's like just about forest woodland animals, like all throwing a little ball. So that was what I got in terms of books. And then the last thing that I got is funny. Don't judge me because I just talked about how I did not care about this and I still don't, but I found a pasta making machine there for $9 and I was like, this just seems like it would be silly to leave behind. So no, I'm not going to get into making all of my pasta from scratch, but I thought it could be even like a fun date night with Jared when he's back. So that's currently soaking because it was still in a box, but I could tell that it had been used. It wasn't in like pristine condition. So that is soaking. I am about to start making some muffins with the kids. That's why I wanted to get some fresh blueberries at the market. It was to make little like blueberry lemon mini muffins for them. I feel like we're going through so many snacks just being at home a lot more recently. So I'm gonna make those now with the kids and see if they want to help. Do you want to help me? Do a little gardening time fit check. It's not cute, but it does the job. I feel like this is what I am wearing all spring long. It's just like a pair of jeans and rain boots. I'm outside now to do a little bit of gardening. Baby girl is napping, so kids are just playing and I'm gonna get some stuff done out here. I thought it would be fun to do a little like outdoor recap because a lot is changing this summer and I haven't updated you guys on what the outdoor kind of situation at our house has been for a really long time. For anyone new here, my husband and I bought this house from a couple that was very much like a gardening couple. They were retired, they were in their mid to late 60s and they had spent every single day of the last like decade out here gardening, getting everything looking pristine all the time. And so when we bought it, that's kind of what it looked like. And I will admit, I was a little bit naive. I didn't realize what it would take to get a half acre of property looking like that. They also didn't leave a lot of like open green space. They had a lot of gardens, a lot of very like finely created and intentionally defined areas of the property that you could tell like in hindsight, or if you knew what you were doing when it came to gardening, that they had spent hours maintaining. That obviously in our season of life with 3 kids 3 and under is just not realistic and feasible for me. So basically over the last few years I've spent a lot of time trying to make the gardens my own and trying to figure out like what do I actually want to have planted here, because there was a bunch of stuff that I wasn't really in love with. There were a lot of types of plants and of flowers that were really like self-propagating, like crazy. Stuff like lupin, stuff like sumac that I think are pretty but are not necessarily my favorite things in the world. So I have spent hours upon hours, and I mean that. Like, I probably spend anywhere from like 3 to 10 hours a week out here working in the gardens, and so much of that time I feel like is just backtracking. Like, it's trying to clean up, it's trying to stay on top of the weeds and the growth, and I haven't really felt like I've made progress stepping forward into the direction that I want to go with any of it. So maybe some of you guys can even help me in that as I show you like the different sections of the garden that we've landed on for now, because as much as I do spend a ton of time gardening, I'm still very much a novice in this area. So when you walk down the deck, you come to this like padded area here, and let me just start by saying, do not judge the grass. My husband has been away for 10 days in England and he handles all of the mowing, so the grass is what the grass is. But as you can see here, we have like the first couple of little gardens. These are the ones that I've chosen to keep for now. I think that when we moved here there were like 13 separate little gardens, so obviously a ton of work to maintain all of that, especially with 3 kids. This little section here, I had actually at the beginning of spring done a ton of work in to just try and clean up. My daughter and I tilled the soil, we planted some zinnia seeds. Already there are so many weeds that are growing here that I will have to go through and just kind of like hand pick to lift them up. There's also stuff here that is growing and I just like don't know what is growing, but just a lot of like random ground cover, some weeds obviously, and then the lupin everywhere in this backyard are popping up like crazy. But I would say this is the simplest garden situation and like the easiest to kind of get where I want it to be right now. It's just the process of weeding that I need to stay on top of. Over here, this one's quite a lot bigger, but I do like most of what is in here. I love this tree. I don't remember the name of it, but it's some sort of like Japanese white floral blooming tree that is so beautiful. I have a lot of bushes back here. I've got some peonies that I love. That's like one of my favorite parts of the garden. But again, the big issue back here is just making sure that this entire zone stays weeded and just looking nice throughout the summer. Coming back over here, we have our little fire pit that at some point we would love to build out, but then we also have a couple more gardens here. So this one is pretty simple. I have a bush that's growing here, then a couple of trees here that I could honestly probably do without, but they're all right. This one is one that was dying for a long time. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was dying. Like, the wood was really dried out and brittle, but my husband and I pruned it back and we've started to see since then some new shoots coming off of it. So whatever it is, if anyone knows, maybe you can tell me, is starting to revive, and I don't love this thing. Like, I would honestly probably pull it out, but actually doing that is so much work. So I feel like I just need to know more of what I'm doing before I do that kind of job. Over here, I have a couple of sumacs, and then there's some tulips that grow here in the spring, but for the most part, this section and this like zone over here is mostly empty, and then over here fills out with a lot of black-eyed Susans in the summer. Sumacs are another one of those trees that I just don't really love. Like, I don't love the look of them. My kids love to climb this one, which is really nice, but if it was like up to me, I would rip all of this stuff out and just plant different trees, but that's not really an option right now. So I just need to figure out kind of like what to do with these gardens in the meantime. Over here, I don't really know what's going on. This was kind of like their rock garden. Like, we've got some huge rocks that are here. That's pretty much it, other than the sumacs. There's another bush back here that is like, okay, I'm impartial to it, but maintaining the area around the rocks and weeding them is like an insane job. And then the final section back here that is really a lot of work, but I would love to be able to keep it, at least some of it, is our raspberry bush. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is a huge raspberry patch. Like, over by that playhouse, you can see where it kind of starts, and it tracked all the way over here, all the way up to that lovely lilac tree beside the tree house. This whole thing was raspberries before, and it just became so unmanageable for me. Like, climbing into the weeds every single summer and spending hours just pulling out weeds like this burdock that is already growing through, and just so much stuff. Having the raspberries is lovely, so I'm doing my best to try and keep a good chunk of it over here. I can already see that there's some new growth coming in. I probably do need to prune that back a little bit, but I've spent most of the time just coming through and trying to take out the dead wood, trying to take out old weeds, and just getting this a little bit more like cleaned up for the summer. And then towards this half of the yard, this is where we've tried to create more open space. So because we have young kids, like, we want room for our kids to run around, and that was part of our problem with all the little gardens. This section here used to be like fully another little garden. I actually had a pumpkin patch in this zone the first year that we moved in, and since then, year over year, we've just been trying to grow grass here, and it's been a work in progress, but it's starting. And that is kind of what we're trying to do with this section this year. So this garden here, you probably can't tell entirely, but this was the biggest garden in our backyard, and it was full of so many random things. Like, I didn't even think that they really looked good together, but there was a lot going on. And so I have seeded this area. I've been watering it every afternoon, trying to get some grass to grow. You can see that some of it is coming through, but there's also just so many weeds that are growing up throughout it, and some stuff that's been left over from the garden that's popped up as well. So I'm trying to figure out now, like, how do I go about this? Like, do I let the grass grow strong and then go in and weed everything? Do I try and actively weed it while the grass is growing? Those are just the things that I'm like, I do not know what I'm doing here. But this is kind of what we are working with right now. Honestly, I love this yard. It's such a dream to be in the city and still have space for our kids to be able to run around and enjoy being outside. Like, it's a dream come true. That being said, it's still also a ton of work to figure out how to kind of like backtrack on somebody else's work and to spend my time doing literally anything other than weeding, because I've pulled a lot of stuff out and I haven't jumped to replant per se. I feel like that is part of the problem, because when you don't replant and you pull something out, weeds just grow in that spot. So I've just spent most of my time doing cleanup, trying to weed, trying to get out what we want to get out. But I feel like it's really hard in that to actually make progress and steps forward. So like I said, I've been gardening intensely for years now and still feel like I have very little progress to show. So if any of you have any advice, my seasoned gardeners, especially people that have like a lot of land that you are trying to accomplish something with, whether that is planting gardens or growing vegetables or whatever, like, where would you start if you were me? How would you grow grass in some of these areas? How would you tame these crazy gardens if you had young kids? Like, what would that look like? I feel like I just need a gardening mentor, a grandma to come over and like support me in this journey, because I want to take forward steps, but it's really hard. Now, and I'm about to try and make myself a little one-handed energy drink, just with my greens and colostrum and all the good stuff, because I really could use the extra energy boost today. I'm now on day 9 of parenting without Jared here. My mother-in-law had to leave a little while back, so I have been fully solo for the last little bit, and I have to say, as much as it has been very challenging, and I'm so grateful that my mother-in-law was able to help for a good chunk of it, I feel like the behavior of the kids was better than I was anticipating with Jared gone. I feel like they missed him a little bit less, at least expressively, than I was anticipating. The hardest part in all of it was just the sleep. Like, our kids are really going through it with sleep right now. I feel like not even so much you as much as the big ones, but lots of like nightmares, lots of just like being freaked out. And so I have been up every single night for the last 8 nights of the 10 that he's been away, praying for a better night tonight. I always find it hard to balance just like venting, because I don't think that venting is actually really helpful for anyone. I honestly would lean more into the perspective of being like, it's gonna be okay. Like, this is a short season. Not like toxic positivity, but just like the understanding that this is a season and that like we are all going to be okay. I lean more to that side, but like the sleep thing for the past 9 days has been really hard. They have been up in the night for anywhere between 1 to 3 hours every single night, like straight through, without going back to sleep in between. I've slept on the floor in the room a couple of times, like gone back and forth between her and the other ones. Like I said, like it has just been wild. And so I am excited for Jared to come home for a number of reasons, but that is definitely one of them, is just having a little bit more support for the night wakings, because I am so tired. My Aura ring has been like, what is going on with you right now? Because I've been getting like sometimes less than 4 hours of sleep at night, and we need everything that we can get to keep the day rolling, to keep it rolling. Can you shake it? That's not a baby bubba. That is a mummy bubba. All of that being said, he is back tomorrow and I can't wait. I'm gonna spend the rest of this afternoon just trying to pick up around the house. around the kids, like, because our house, I've been trying my best to keep on top of it, but there's definitely been spots that I've just kind of relaxed on a lot while he's been gone. So I'm gonna try and get everything cleaned up and reset before he's back. I'm so excited to see him again. I've missed him so much, and I feel like I have not even experienced like closely at all what it is like to be a single parent or a widowed parent or any of those things. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that that is in and of itself its own ball game, and I have friends in those positions and I look at them with so much admiration and respect for what they do, but like I just have earned a new appreciation for anyone in that position that is doing this constantly without anyone else that they can really tap out with and just have a full break with it all from. Just know that I like am praying for you this week, and all the strength to you. I pray that the Holy Spirit goes before you in it. I feel like I have had to depend on the Holy Spirit in a whole new way, especially since I have been like solo without any backup. It's honestly been really unique that I feel like have less time than I usually do, but have read my Bible more because I just need it. Like, I need that infill of the Holy Spirit every single day, and he's met me in it. Like, I'm waking up so exhausted, so tired from the night before, but like I've just honestly prayed like, God, I need you today. I pray that you would be with me, help me to be the best mom that I can be. And every single time you pray that prayer, like, he'll meet you in that. And so just encouragement to anyone that is feeling tired, worn down today. I feel you. I'm in it right there with you, but the Holy Spirit has everything that you need for today and for tomorrow and for the next day. You just have to wake up every single day and ask him to give it to you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed this little week in my life. I keep looking down because I have a baby between my feet right now. I wanted to remind you guys that if any of you are interested in checking out IGK's smoothing spray, I will tell you, I am on day 3 right now, like I said, since washing my hair last, and it's still so smooth. I feel like it still looks great, just adding a little bit of dry shampoo, and I do have a discount with them. So use the link in my description box and then the code here, BethGrace25, to get an exclusive discount on their smoothing spray. So thank you again to IGK for working with me on this video. Until my next video, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye!